going on, guys? This is your welcome back to the YouTube video. Today I'm teaching you how to play Vow of the Disciple, the new raid in Destiny 2 that released this past Saturday, March 5th, 2022. And guys, it was a banger. My god, if there was a better raid to make after Last Wish and the disaster that is now known as VOG, my god. This raid was it. It was a banger. It was very fun to do. Now I will give you a heads up, some of the stuff in this is done on, well, not in contest mode, because of the simple fact that some of the footage got corrupted, and yeah, it was a lot of the footage got corrupted, but we still got it done nevertheless. Not in contest mode, however, because final boss, we killed him right after contest mode ended, and it sucked that it happened like that, but you know what? We still got the clear. I'm proud of myself for it, and I can't believe that we did it. And now, let me explain the mechanics of the first encounter. Acquisition. I think that's what this is called. There's 3 obelisks in this encounter. You're going to split yourselves up into 3 teams of 2. You have Night Killers, and you have Defenders, or Readers. Alright. The Night Killer job is to go around the map and killing the Knights in the area that the Knight spawns in at. The Glyph Reader's job is to read the Glyph out one by one as they spawn in. The Glyphs will start off in a random order, either starting in the front, the left, or the right. When your Glyph starts getting your symbols, you're going to read out what that Glyph reads. The first symbol on the top is going to show one of 2 symbols, Pyramid or Traveler. This tells you which side the Knight spawns in at, left, right, or front. If you get, if you end up getting Pyramid, the Knight can spawn in the front and on the left. If you get Traveler, the Knight will spawn in the front or on the right. Now, here's the trick. The second totem, which is the middle glyph, you're going to see an image that represents one of 9 doors. Alright? Once you call out one of these 9 doors, you're going to enter into the room that these 9 doors are. After entering into these rooms, you're going to then receive your last glyph node. The last glyph node is one of 2 things. It's either going to be a black symbol with white stripes on it, or a white symbol with a rainbow-like swirl around it. This represents light and dark. The white symbol is light and the black symbol is dark. Whenever you do see these symbols, this tells the player which Glyph Keeper they have to kill. Killing the wrong Glyph Keeper can, I think, triggers a wipe mechanic. We haven't really had this happen to us as most of the time that we did it. From what I remember, it never did wipe us, so I could be wrong. Now, you're going to do this 3 times to shut down an obelisk, and then you have to shut down each obelisk once. So you're going to be doing this entire mechanic 9 times altogether. Now, whenever you shut down an obelisk, here's how you do so. Whenever you kill the Glyph Keeper is going to give you a symbol. The Glyph Reader for that totem needs to learn or remember the symbol that they're given. Once the Glyph Keepers are dead, you're going to be looking for a totem or one of the obelisks that has all 3 of the symbols that were called out. And in doing so, you're going to shoot them in the order that you were given. So for example, if the left Glyph Keeper was given Witch Queen symbol, the right Glyph Keeper was given the Forsaken symbol, and the front Glyph Keeper was given Plateau, you're going to shoot Witch Queen, Forsaken, and Plateau. Now, when you do this, the totem shuts down and you're going to try and shoot and do the encounter again. This is rinse and repeat after this. Little side note here. If the door you need to go into is closed, you need to shoot the crystal that's in the middle to open that door. So, and this encounter requires you to communicate with your teammates, be very effective at ad clear, and be willing to help out whenever needed. So keep this in mind as time progresses. Now, first things first, as you may have already noticed from the footage, there are unstoppable champions. So I recommend having a hand cannon, a Glyph, something unstoppable on you so you can shoot them down. Because if these champions get too strong or too powerful, they can also wipe the totem. Let me just note, it takes 3 hits from a champion to wipe the entire team. Now, another thing, here's another way that you can wipe your team. Shooting the wrong Glyph order can also wipe your team, as you only get 3 attempts, or 2, depending on how long your team took. You're going to be doing this 9 times. So, hope this explanation was good, and this was acquisition. Keep this in mind. You're going to see these totems again in the next encounter. Congratulations, if you've made it this far, then you are on the Caretaker boss fight. The Caretaker is a boss fight that requires 3 teams of 2, or, if you want, 2 teams of 3. So essentially, you will have ad clear as team 1, as team 2 will be totems, and team 3 is stun. We're going to go over the totem part, since this is a little more complex. If you're on the totem team, you're going to have, when you start the encounter, you're going to have 1 person go inside of the door, go inside to the little room, inside of the door that you've opened when the encounter begins. You're going to see 9 emblems in each room, and these 9 emblems are also onto the totem itself. Once you pick up 3 of these 9 emblems, you're going to remember which of the 3 that you have picked up, and you're going to also call out those same 3 that you've picked up to your team. Upon remembering what 3 emblems you have picked up, once you come out of that room, in order to get the totem to accept the offering that you have for it, you're going to shoot those same 3 emblems that you picked up from inside. So remember to communicate with your team about that. Once you shoot the 3 emblems will disappear from the totem, and the totem will accept your offering. If the totem rejects your offering 3 times, or twice, or once, depending on how long you've taken in the encounter, you will wipe. Ad clear, as always, we'll have to make sure the ads stay off of the bridge and away from the totem, because without that, your team will be a sitting duck. Last but not least, stunting. If you remember Golgoroth, then you should remember how to stun Golgoroth. First person is going to try and you're going to have 1 person play as the bait. The bait player will grab his gaze by simply, going up to him. Once you go up to him, you can melee him, or you can try and provoke him. Essentially, you have to get him to melee you. And ball stomp mechanics in this game are very freaking weird. So good luck on that. But if you can get him to stomp you, you will have the debuff known as Caretaker's Gaze. Upon receiving his gaze, you will have to shoot the head. Once you shoot his head, he's gonna stagger. Once you stagger him, the person should be 1 person should be behind him, shooting his back. His back will open up. That little pyramid tech weapon that you see in his back, that little back will open up, and you're going to want to shoot that as well. Now, if you can keep him away from the obelisk to keep him from wiping your team, or if you can just simply get the obelisk to accept all 3 offerings in the right amount of time, then therefore your team will be able to proceed to the damage phase. This boss is a damage check boss, so it is done in 3 phases. And this boss has 25 million health. I don't understand why or how, but this boss is beefier than anything I have straight up seen in rating history. 25 million health. So you want to be excruciatingly fast and efficient in damage if you want to defeat this boss. This boss is a damage check boss, so keep that in mind. Furthermore, as you get to the top floor, it's going to be harder to stay in certain areas, as if you fall down, you lose time. So keep that in mind, and you do not want to fall in the void in the process. Now, when you do damage to the boss, on the screen right now should be a list of weapons that worked for us on day one, and they should probably still work for you when you do this boss fight. I absolutely enjoyed using these particular weapons too, because they were fun weapons to me. I used Merciless, and Merciless did very good damage. So, like, yeah. So, really, use whatever you want that's actually, like, big damage on this guy. So, keep that in mind. And, yeah. Once you hit the third floor and do damage up there, you're going to enter Last Stand. Essentially, these set of stairs will come down from the ceiling, and you're going to go up those stairs to enter Last Stand. During the damage phase, you're going to also see plates. These 3 plates are done like Callus. So the moment that you stand in these plates, their buff will trigger right away. However, they will fade away. Once they fade away, you're going to move to the next plate, count down, and do damage from that plate. After that one fades away, you're going to move to the next plate after that, and rinse and repeat. So essentially, you're going to do this 3 times, and then you're going to face off against Caretaker and ultimately kill him once and for all, because this guy deserved everything he has coming to him and more, because I feel bad for all the day one teams, including my own, that took hours on end in killing this boss. So yeah, but like I said, it was a fun boss fight, and there's multiple mechanics that takes place in this, and it's very mechanic heavy, but it is really, really good. So yeah. Also, on Final Stand, if you hit the last plate and don't do enough damage, you will wipe. So keep that in mind. Outbreak Perfected is recommended to having your loadout ready to go upon hitting Final Stand, because Outbreak Perfected does well over 20k per shot, and it's kind of nuts. So keep that in mind, and yeah. So the contest mode version of this encounter was corrupted when I recorded it, and it sucks because I wanted you guys to see what it looked like, but you know what, it's whatever at this point. I'm glad that I got this encounter done on contest mode, and I was glad to help out other people do it too, so yeah. Now, here's how this encounter works. There are 3 artifacts. In the first room, you're going to grab the first artifact that's sitting on that pedestal that you just saw me pick it up from. Upon picking it up, you're going to use the artifact to shoot down knights with shields. Alright? If you shoot the knights with the shields, you extend your countdown timer. The countdown timer is called Terminal Resonance. If that timer hits 0, your fire team wipes. Your job is to escort each individual relic within the encounter to their respective pedestals at the end. The Crystal Relic is the first relic that you will encounter, and is the most important relic, as it is the only way that you can keep your team from constantly wiping from the Terminal Resonance. Of course, more relics come in play as time goes on. This first relic is used to shoot the crystals and help kill ads, but mostly to shoot the knight with the white shield on him. If you see the knight with the white shield, you're going to use it to kill him. Now, furthermore, you're going to see 3 symbols scattered in the map upon killing a Glyph Keeper. Once you kill a Glyph Keeper, you're going to see glyphs that appear in the encounter on the left and right side. You're going to read these out to your fire team. and only one of the symbols on both glyphs will appear. So if you see if you see Witch Queen on left and Witch Queen on right, then it's going to be Witch Queen. If you see Earth on left and Earth on right, you're going to use Earth. Essentially, you're going to see the most common symbol or emblem on each individual side, and you're going to shoot the correct symbols by the doors to open each individual door. Once you open the door, you're going to put the relic into a pedestal to extend your time. In the second room, you're going to pick up the Vault of Glass Aegis. Yes, Vault of Glass is coming back in this thing. However, it's used the exact same way that you would use it in Atheon, to cleanse. So keep that in mind. You're going to go around cleansing players that need it on both the left and the right side. So upon doing so, once you cleanse, the pervading darkness buff will reset. So the job is just pretty much simple. Keep yourself cleansed and keep your allies cleansed. The third relic is the little blight orb that you use from Last Wish, the Eye of Riven. Throughout the third and fourth rooms, you're going to see blight orbs around scattered, and you're going to use your grenade ability on those orbs to blow them up so players can ad clear. So keep that in mind. Other than that, you're going to follow the process of finding the two glyph keepers to kill them and to get the right symbols. Rooms 2, 3, and 4, you have to get two correct. You have to find two symbols that are the most common. So keep that in mind. Once you exchange the artifacts on all all 4 encounters, you complete the encounter and you get your loot chest. Now, one last thing. Upon killing both glyph keepers, a new knight will spawn. This will help you extend your terminal resonance timer even more. So yeah. So kill the glyph keepers and make sure to get the most common, yes, I mean it, the most commonly used buff, or not buff, but emblem, and shoot the emblems on the door that you call out. So for example, if it's Earth and Rose, you're going to shoot Earth and Rose, or Earth and Love. I don't know what other players call them out as, or you're going to call them out as you see them throughout the encounters and whatnot. So yeah, and this encounter is pretty much chaotic, it's fun, and yeah, it's very lovely. So keep that in mind. Now, it's time to hit final boss. And if you've made it this far into the guide, then this is the final boss of the raid, Relic, Disciple of the Witness. This is your first look at what appears to be the new race of enemies known as the Veil, as Relic is not scorned nor taken. He is Veil. And boy, this is something. This boss fight is hectic. And from what I remember, this boss fight was insanely difficult. We actually made it to the end of this boss fight and almost killed him, practically killed him, but we just couldn't pull it out on freaking final damage phase, or not final damage phase, but on last stand. And it sucked because this would have been my very first day one. But you know what? I'm proud of myself for actually making it as far as almost killing the final boss, which means that next time I can even set my standards even higher than this. So, yeah, I cannot believe it. So, I cannot believe this. But here we are, the final boss. Here's how Relic works. First off, when the encounter begins, you're going to start getting Pervading Darkness. Once you get Pervading Darkness, you're going to shoot the crystal on top of Relic, or on top of the boss. Once you shoot the crystal, the person who shot that crystal gets a buff called Leeching Force. That person with Leeching Force is going to stand on the plate in the middle at the very at the start of spawn, and 2 other players are going to shoot the crystals that spawn in. Upon shooting those crystals, those 2 players will get Leeching Force. However, 1 player will have to stand in the way of Relic's laser attack. Once you get hit by his laser, you'll gain another buff called Epitome Bolt, the Epitome Force, or Epiphany Force, or whatever you want to call it. It's a weird name. But upon receiving this buff, your teammates, in the meantime, your teammate with the Leeching Force and your teammates without should be looking on the left and right pedestals and calling out the symbols or emblems that they see. And again, just like the last encounter, the most common symbol in those 2 are going to be used to dunk the buff into one of the 6 pillars in front of the players. Those 6 pillars will have the most common buff on them. Like, for example, Witch Queen. If it's Witch Queen, then you're going to look for the pedestals with the Witch Queen symbol. Essentially, you're going to be looking for a pair of the same emblems, and then dunking the buff into that. Once you dunk the buff, you're going to rinse and repeat 6 times to hit damage phase. However, if both players with Leeching Force gets Epiphany Force, they will both have to dunk into the correct one. But there's one slight issue. If this happens twice, then players will wipe, because you need to only have it happen once. You get forgiven once for it happening. It's like a little cheat code or something that Bungie doesn't want you to use, so keep that in mind. At damage phase, you're going to see weak spots on Relic that you're going to want to shoot. Once you shoot these weak spots, they will weaken his body. Furthermore, you're going to have 1 player shoot his staff. Once they shoot that staff of his, they're going to want to get the buff again, to get the Epiphany buff again, and bank at the correct pedestal. In this one, you're going to call out the emblem that the staff has. Once you call out the correct emblem on that staff, you're going to go to the correct pedestal and bank it. Do it 4 times, and you start DPS. However, if you fail to fully damage his body, like fully damage all 4 limbs, then Relic will stay immune, and you won't be able to damage, and you're going to miss out on the damage phase pretty much. And he could probably even wipe you, I believe. Now, you're going to keep doing this until his HP hits the final stand bar. Once it hits final stand, you're going to want to do as much damage as you can possible. If you fail to 1 phase, rinse and repeat. If you do 1 phase, at final stand, he's going to essentially be doing the same thing that he did before, and you're going to want to essentially kill him at that point. At the final stand is really nothing too special. If you've killed Relic using this strategy, then congratulations, you have just completed Vow of the Disciple. Obtain your loot, return to orbit, and have a good day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.